Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. I am the introverted reader and I'm still not used to this short hair. I'm not. But today's video is it's one that I never planned on making. But if you've been watching me for the last little months or so, I was doing a reread of the GRISHAVERSE by Leigh Bardugo in preparation for reading the the sort of very last duology that she has within that world, King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. And so I had to reread the original trilogy and obviously Six of Crows because King of Scars and Rule of Wolves is like the two of them joined together and I couldn't remember certain things. So I was like, let me go back and let it refresh my memory a little bit. So I'm, I don't want King of Scars to be like a bad experience. But anyway, so I'm going to talk about my journey reading these books and then we're going to rank them and see how I feel overall with this world and, going back and rereading it. So let's hydrate. I've got Coke in a rainbow glass. It's a bit flat, but sure. Hydrate with something. And yeah, let's get to it. So yeah, the GRISHAVERSE starts off with this trilogy right here. This is the OG trilogy with the OG covers. Okay, say whatever you want about this series, but you cannot tell me that these OG covers are not absolutely gorgeous. Like, whenever I made the decision that I was going to reread these, and I found a wee box set of these pretty cheap online, so I was just like, okay, I'll get them. But I was like, I want them with the OG covers, like the ones that I read years ago. So we've got Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. And obviously the GRISHAVERSE talks about a race of people called the Grisha, and they all have different abilities. It's usually tied with like a certain element, or there's other Grisha that can like manipulate people to some extent. There's ones that can heal, and like water, fire, whatever. Only one, mind you, they're not the Avatar, only one. Now, Shadow and Bone starts with our main character, Elena, and she is in the First Army with her best friend, Mal, who of course she is in love with, but she can't tell him because they're best friends. And she is, she is every trope that you could possibly think of in young adult fantasy that came out in the early 2000s. When was this published? Let me see. 2012? 2012? Was it really only published in 2012? That is shocking. Anyway, so yeah, early 2000s or late-ish 2000s YA, every trope that you could possibly think of, this girl embodies. Like, I'm just a plain girl with brown eyes and brown hair. No one would ever find me attractive, especially not my best friend, who's literally the best thing ever since sliced bread. Like, Although, I got the audiobooks for all three of these, and I will say the audiobooks were the way to go. And I will say these are really, really easy to read. Like, they're not like overly complicated. It's not slow. It's nice and fast paced. This first book, I ended up giving 3 stars. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was just like I said, just your average, like 2012 YA book. And our girl Elena, she's in the First Army with her best friend, and she discovers that she is not just a normal human being, she is in fact a sun summoner, because they have to cross this expanse called the Fold, which kind of takes over the entirety of their country. It's this huge expanse of darkness that was created by someone called the Black Heretic, and it's full of monsters and horrible things, but they have to cross it to get to the other side of their country. Like, it's whilst they're crossing, stuff happens. They're attacked by the monsters, and Elena, like, sunlight bursts out of her, and everybody's just like, what? She's a sun summoner? She did it. And Fraser's like, no, it can't be me. Like, no. And that she's brought before General Kerrigan, aka the Darkling, and he tests her because in this world, all children are tested at a young age to see whether or not they're Grisha, and if they are Grisha, they're brought to the little palace where they can be trained in their craft and stuff. And a lot of people have mixed feelings towards the Grisha. Like, a lot of people, like, obviously Grisha themselves do kind of see themselves as high and mighty over everybody else, but they're just like, it's like, I am who I am, deal with it. But then a lot of people are like really opposed to them. They're just like, people think that they're demons, that they don't really trust them and all this. So I gave this one 3 stars because it was just okay. This, on the other hand, I gave 2 because nothing happens in this one. Nothing happens. And in this one, I ended up giving this 4, which I was really, really surprised at. Mostly the reason why I didn't overly enjoy this series to start with was because of Elena, and she got on my last nerve all the way through this series. Like, the actor that Jessie that plays her in the TV show, like the way she betrays the character didn't get on my nerves. Although I was able to picture all the actors in my head while I was reading it, and picturing Ben Barnes as the Darkling definitely helped the reading process, if you know what I mean. So I was grateful for that. But overall, series was okay. I love the Darkling as a villain, I will say. I've said this numerous times. I think he is probably the best thing about this trilogy. He's one of the best written villains that I've read in a while. And honestly, if he wasn't so well written, or if he wasn't in here, I probably would have DNF'd this, if I'm being honest. But I'm glad that I read it. It was a fun time. You know, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. Elena got on my last nerve. Mal got on my last nerve, especially in this one. I wanted to knock both of them out in this one. Oh my god. Like, the 2 of them did my absolute head in the second one, but then in the third one, they actually didn't. It was like both of them got personality transplants, and then they were like different people. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. Overall, I enjoyed my time. I don't think I would go back and reread it again, though. Okay, so moving on from that, we're going to talk about my favorite duology of all time, and that is Six of Crows. We've got Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Now, this is still set within the GRISHAVERSE, but we are in a different kingdom. We are in Ketterdam. And we follow a group of characters who are part of a gang called the Crows. And they are led by Kazbrecker, who is, I love him. Like, words cannot describe how much I love Kazbrecker. Like, so basically him and the Crows are a gang, and they get up to all sorts in Six of Crows. Now, I will say, whenever I was reading this, I forgot how young Kazbrecker is, because reading the first one, he was talking about how he's been in and out. He was in prison, and he was like, the first time he was in prison, he was, I think, like 13 years old. And he was all like, oh yeah, that was like 3-4 years ago now. And I'm like, you're 17? You're 17? Are you kidding me? Like, I love this. Like, Kazbrecker is amazing. He is the best morally grey written character I've ever come across. And Jesper and Inej and Wylan and Mateus and Nina, every single one of them, love them. Like, this easily could have been adult, I feel like. Like, this could easily borderline on the adult, because a lot of violence goes down. Okay, Kazbrecker stabs first and asks questions later, let me tell you. And wow. So basically the whole point of this is they have to break into a high security prison to get a certain person out, because this certain person has something that everybody wants, and if he's caught or if he's killed, then yeah, stuff goes down. And they are basically given the offer of a lifetime. Like, the person that gives them this job is basically like, you do this for me and I will consider all your debts paid. Like, you'll be free. Like, I'll give you money and you can go about and be free and whatever. Like, I could not put either one of these down. The audiobooks, if you're going to read these, get the audiobooks for them. Like, it's a full cast and it's so good. 5 stars to both of them. 5 stars to both of these, honestly. So good. And if you don't read any other Grishaverse book apart from these two, I wouldn't even bat an eye, honestly. Now, the latter two, and spoiler alert from my wrap-up, I did read, finally, both of these, King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. I've talked about King of Scars in a couple of wrap-ups. This was not what I was expecting it to be. Honestly, it really wasn't. I was really disappointed with this. I very nearly got close to DNFing it, if I'm being honest, but then I did end up finishing it, and the ending was really, really good. I mean, I think on Goodreads I give it 3, but honestly in reality it's maybe more like a 2, like 2.5 for the ending, but that's it. Because I wanted a story that was purely from Nikolai's perspective, and this wasn't what it was. Like, we follow a lot of perspectives in this, and I listened to the audiobook. Like, I got the audiobook for all of the Grishaverse books, and like, there was only one narrator for both of these, and I'm not saying that she didn't do a good job. She did a great job, but I genuinely feel it would have maybe been a little bit more entertaining, it would have benefited a bit more if we'd gotten more than one, you know, because we follow Nikolai and Nina and Zoya. So I'm just like, you know, you couldn't have gotten a guy in to do for Nikolai's part, or another girl to do for Nina. Like, I don't know how getting audiobook narrators work. Maybe there was just no one available. Maybe they just wanted to get it out quickly. I don't know. But yeah, this was disappointing. This, I mean, I might talk a little bit more in depth about this in my wrap up at the end of the month, but overall, this was a lot better than King of Scars. However, there were a few things where I was a bit confused as to why, and I'm sitting going, it was like Leigh Bardugo was trying to have her like Infinity War moment, or like her Endgame moment, but you know, it just all felt like she was cramming everything from everywhere into this one, you know, and it's just, it got a little bit overwhelming after a while. And now, I'm not, like I said, this was a lot better than King of Scars. I really, really enjoyed my time reading this. However, like I said, there was still a lot that I'm just like, what? There was one character in particular that she just randomly decided, oh, we're going to follow this person's perspective. And I was like, okay, but why though? Like, I don't really understand how this is supposed to like if we're like the storyline she was going with this character, I was like, right, okay. I mean, but then I was like, out of everyone, I don't understand. You know, again, it was like she was trying to have her endgame moment, and to be honest, I don't know if it really worked out. I'm not dragging Endgame, by the way. I really like that movie. Like, don't be thinking that I did. I really like that movie, but I'm just saying, it's like, you know, I liked you. Like, it was better than this. Miles better than this. But, you know, and bringing certain people back only to have them do absolutely F all, and to just have them, you know, disappear at the end or die at the end. I'm winking because maybe some of you know who I'm talking about, and I'm pissed off. If there's one thing that really aggravates me, it's that one thing that was brought back, that one person, and did the thing, and then literally nothing came of it, and I'm upset. So, I mean, objectively, I would give this 4 stars because I did have a good time. But yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it briefly in my wrap up at the end of the month, but overall, better than King of Scars, but not my favorite Grisha book, if I'm being honest. So, shall we rank them? I think we shall. So, I didn't really think about this beforehand, but I do know that at the top, I want Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I'm thinking maybe Crooked Kingdom might take the top spot, for reasons, because everything goes off in this. But both of these are definitely joined at the top. So Crooked Kingdom, and then Crooked Kingdom, and then Six of Crows. And then I think perhaps maybe, no, I'm gonna go with my gut here. And then I think Rule of Wolves is gonna go in third, because even though there were a few things where I didn't know why Lee was including this or doing this, I still had a really fun time, and it's a really, really good book. And, you know, if the ending of this book means what I think it means, then oh yes. And then after that, I think I'm gonna put Ruin and Rising underneath that, because this series isn't the best, but this one is the best out of all three, if I'm being honest. Like, I thought this was really good. There was a good ending, and for once, Alina and Mal weren't getting on my nerves. And then I think Shadow and Bone underneath that. Probably a lot easier if I was doing this like on a screen or something, but so this is the ranking thus far. Shadow and Bone underneath. Again, good solid start to the beginning of a trilogy. Not the greatest, but I had fun. And then I think King of Scars underneath that. And then the dumpster fire, that was this at the bottom, because Siege and Storm sucked. So, okay. So, this is my ranking. So, we've got Crooked Kingdom, Six of Crows at the top, followed by Rule of Wolves, followed by Ruin and Rising, followed by Shadow and Bone, followed by King of Scars, and then Siege and Storm at the bottom. Now, overall, this is a really, really fun series. It's a fun world. Again, if all you read out of the GRISHAVERSE is Six of Crows, then I'm not even gonna be mad. The TV show season 2, I believe, is coming in March. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's coming in March, but I'm so excited. The TV show was absolutely brilliant, and if all you do is watch the TV show, then go off, sis. I'm not gonna force you to read these books. I mean, I would force people to read these, but I wouldn't be forcing people to read the whole thing, because you can live without. Honestly, I know I can't. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I've talked your ear off, I'm sure. But let me know what your ranking would be. If you've read all of these books as well, what would your ranking be? What of these have you read? Which ones are your favorite? And again, I wasn't planning on making this, but I was like, you know what? I've read the series as a whole now, and I'm all caught up, so may as well talk about it. I do have other series that I'm going to be rereading, not as extensive as the GRISHAVERSE, but yeah, if you want me to do videos for those as well, then I gladly will. But anyway, I shall see you in my next video, which will be next Tuesday, because I'm working on Saturday. So my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok will be down below as always. Thank you so much for your support over on the socials. I really appreciate all of you. Subscribe if you are not already. Ring the bell so you know whenever I upload. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Cheers!